Hey guys, today we have a Project Pan update. I have a pretty exciting update today. We have two new roll-ins and we have one more month left of this quarter's Project Pan before I do my seasonal refresh for the fall slash last quarter of the year. I do have to be honest, I've been feeling a little bit in a rut with my Project Pan, and I don't think it is anything to do with the specific products that are in my Project Pan. I think I've just been in the mood to use whatever I want and not feel restrained to this particular set of products. Not that I have to use these things every day in order to have a successful Project Pan, obviously, but I don't know, I just have been really just letting myself use whatever, and if it happens to be my Project Pan items that day, then that's great. But if I find myself picking up a Project Pan item out of obligation, where I'm like, I kind of wanted to use something else, but I feel like I should use this, I always try to stop myself right there and just say, just use whatever you want. Like, all of this is your makeup, not just the Project Pan stuff. So all of that to say, progress on some of these things may be a little bit slower. Other things I have been just excited to use just about every day, so you'll see more progress on those, but I've just decided, like, if I make slower progress, that's fine with me. I still find it fun to document the process of using up products and hitting pan on products, so I still think this is a fun project for me, but haven't really been super in a Project Pan-y mood recently. But I still wanted to come on here, show you how these products have been going, let you know how I've been using them, and introduce a couple of new things into the project. Starting off with the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Primer. I definitely used this a lot more in August than I did in July, so I do think we're going to see a little bit more progress in the progress photos this time around. I would say I probably have been using this about half the time, and then the other half I'm just skipping primer altogether. But I do feel like the tube is getting pretty narrow. You can see this has a pump, so it does just kind of automatically get smaller as you pump more product out. So this is where we are right now. It doesn't seem like there's a ton left in there, but I definitely don't think I'll be finishing this by the end of September, by the end of this quarter's project, because this looks a little more like maybe 3 months worth. So I probably will go ahead and continue working on this throughout the rest of the year and hopefully have it done by the end of the year, so this can be in my 2023 empties. I think that would be exciting. So that's kind of my general goal right now, is just to finish this by the end of the year, and I do think I'm on track to do that at this point. I do want to share one of my exciting empties. I finally finished up the cream Franken Blush that I had made. This is actually what used to have the Becca highlighter in Champagne Pop, which I also panned this year, and I reused it for a little cream Franken Blush, which really just had the last remnants of the CoverGirl lipstick in Honeyed Bloom and a little bit of the Oma Beauty highlighter in White Pearl, the cream highlighter, just to make it a little bit more glowy. And I finally finished it. I actually used the very last little bit of it today on my lips, so that's what's on my lips right now. You can see, like, there's the teeniest bit around the edges. I scraped everything out as best I could with, like, a tweezer, and some of it just kind of stuck to the edges, but I am calling this finished. I think I have definitely gotten all of my money's worth out of those products, so happy to call this done. I did think it was a really beautiful cream blush. Honestly, I really enjoyed it. So I feel really satisfied having finished this. It always feels good to use up every last drop of a product. It just feels like such an accomplishment. And now that means I only have one cream blush in my Project Pan, the Milani one, which I guess I can go ahead and talk about now. I will be rolling in a new product. It's not going to be another cream blush because I want to just have I think I want to just focus on one cream blush in my Project Pan at a time from now on. When I have two cream blushes in my Project Pan, one of them usually ends up getting put on the back burner, and that was this Milani one. So this is the Milani cream blush in the shade Nude Kiss. I also have this on my cheeks today. It's actually one of 3 things that I'm wearing as blush today. I still have a dip in here. The dip has not gone anywhere. I don't feel like it's gotten a whole lot deeper though, but what I'm hoping now, though, is that because this is the only blush that I'm focusing on in my Project Pan, I may be able to make a little bit more progress on it. And my goal now is to try to hit pan on this by the end of this month. That's the goal. So I'm hoping I can come back in my next update with a new pan in here. That would be amazing. I mean, I don't think I'm too far. Like, you can see the dip is very, very noticeable. For sure. I don't think I could possibly be too far off. Really, the reason I haven't been making much progress on this is because I just haven't been using it very much, but I kind of have the goal now to hit pan on this by the end of this month so that we can at least finish off this quarter with a new blush pan. I currently do not have pan in any of my blushes in my collection, and I would really like to have at least one, just one. So I think this is the one that I'm closest to. I do really love this blush. I just haven't been using it. Hoping that now I can focus more on this one and get some really good progress in the next month. On the other hand, I have had no problem using the Soul Body Bronzing Balm that I rolled in last month. I feel like I have used this almost every single day that I have done my makeup over the last month. I didn't hit pan. I'm not necessarily even trying to hit pan on this per se. I just want to see how much progress I can make just because I've been in the mood to use this. I decided let's throw it in and see how much progress I can make. I have had this for quite a while, so I would like to start making moves towards finishing it, even though that is probably still very far off in the future. But this is what it looks like now. I already had a dip going last month when I first introduced it into the project, but I do feel like now that dip is looking even bigger. Like that is no small dip there. Am I anywhere near hitting pan? It's hard to say because this is such a huge jar, basically, of bronzer. But my motivation to use this has not decreased. So maybe I can hit pan on this in the next month. We'll see. How crazy would it be if I came back in a month with pan in both of these? I think that this will probably be the last month that I have this in my project because for my fourth quarter project, I will probably put my Oma Beauty contour stick back in because we're getting towards the end of the warm weather, aka the end of warm bronzer season for me. I don't find myself using bronzers quite this warm outside of the warm months, so that's why I wanted to just go ahead and throw it in the project, see how much progress I can make on it in these next couple of months, and then after that I'll probably move on to something else. But in the meantime, I'm really enjoying using this, so that is that. Also, still no pan in the Athr Beauty Pink Diamond Dust highlighter. Another one. All three of these cheek products, they all have really big dips, but no pan. But this is what that highlighter looks like up close. I still have a really big dip right in this area. Continues to get deeper, but one of you guys told me that you have hit pan on this and the pan is really deep. So I'm probably still a ways off from hitting pan in this. Maybe by the end of the year I could hit pan on this, but probably not any sooner than that. I'm still really loving this highlighter. This is still one of my favorites. In fact, I just filmed a top 2 in every category video, and this was still one of my top 2 highlighters, even though I've had it for so long and so many other highlighters have come into my life, but this one continues to be one of my all-time favorites, so I'm still really enjoying reaching for it. I'm wearing it today. This has kind of just been my default highlighter, and I love it. So I'm gonna keep trucking along on this, and maybe I'll hit pan on it by the end of the year. Another never-ending product here. This is the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade. I don't know why I read that as if I didn't know the name of it. But if you recall in my last update, I had said I was aiming to hit side pan in this so that we could at least start to see some visual progress going on. And I did that. The only reason I wanted to hit side pan was just so that in the progress photos we could really get a better visual for how this is moving, because prior to that you could really hardly see any difference between the progress photos. You could just see like the slightest difference. So I've been aiming my brush more in that one spot just so we can see a little bit more movement in it. Obviously you can put your brush in whatever part of the product you want and you're still going to be using the same amount of product up, but really just did that for the purposes of documenting my progress. But really happy to now have side pan here, so I feel like we're getting somewhere. I've been using this every single day that I wear makeup. This is the brow product that I use. Definitely still have a lot of product left. I feel like at this point I will probably be taking this with me to the grave, but I'm still gonna try to use this up. I'm thinking maybe by the end of 2024, this could be empty. I would love to empty this though. Like, I think it would be such an accomplishment to finish this. So one day I would like to finish that. Okay, my other rollout, I honestly cannot believe, but I finally hit pan in my Clarity Somber Amazing palette. This palette has started to get kind of messy. Like, some of these shimmers have started getting crumbly, but I have finally hit pan in my favorite shade in here, the shade Oh Ship. Look at that. Can you tell? Can you see the pan? I know it's hard to see because it is such a metallic shade as it is, but I have been using this shade pretty much all summer, so I'm happy to be able to roll this out now that I'm getting more into fall color stories. I do think this is a very like spring and summer color story. I've really enjoyed it all throughout this past spring and summer, but I've had this palette for I think over 2 years now, So it feels really good to finally have a pan in there. It was no easy feat hitting pan on that shade because these shimmers are so intense that you really just need to tap your finger in there and you get enough shadow for one eye. But so happy to be seeing some progress in this palette. Maybe next summer I can hit pan on another shade in here. That would be awesome. I'm gonna be putting this palette away and focusing on some more of my fall palettes. I am rolling in a new shadow to replace this, so stay tuned. At the end I'll share what that is. This will be going back in my collection now. I feel so good to have hit pan on that shade because I think I was gonna feel a little bit defeated if we got to the end of the summer and I still didn't hit pan. Not that it's the end of the world, but you know, it's always so satisfying to see use in my palettes, even if I don't hit pan. It's just nice to see dips and just see that my products are getting used. Next up for this black pencil liner I've been working on, this is the CoverGirl Exhibitionist 24-Hour Kohl Eyeliner in black. I don't think I sharpened this at all this month, but I was at least able to draw another tally mark, so at least I made a little bit of progress. I have mainly just been using this to tightline my upper lashes when I remember. I mean, honestly, I could do that every day, but sometimes I just forget to do it. I think as I transition into fall makeup, slightly more glam looks, and just deeper looks in general, I think I probably will find myself using this more. I don't think I'll have this finished by the end of the year. That would be awesome, but even if I could just get like halfway, I think that would be a great goal as well. This other eyeliner, however, this is the only product that I did not manage to use at all in August. Oops. Okay, so this is the Revolution eyeliner in the shade Sky Blue. Really, I just wanted to try and use this a handful more times because it is starting to get dried out. It doesn't look to be fully dried out yet. So I am gonna leave this in the project pan for September. I'll try and use it a handful of times. If I don't, obviously it's not the end of the world. Like I said at the beginning, trying not to like force myself to use these products because that's no fun. But if I manage to use this in September, that'll be great. If not, then that's no big deal. This is why I don't buy colorful liquid eyeliners anymore because this is what happens. I use them like 3 times and then they dry out. So kind of a waste of money. The last product is the one and only lip product. Normally I have a few lip products in my project, but this past month this was the only lip product that I was focusing on. This is the Burt's Bees Gloss Lip Crayon in the shade Santorini Sunrise. Really pretty nude peach color. This I would really like to have finished by the end of this quarter, the end of this month. I would love that. So this is how much I have left. It doesn't look like a lot, but then again, in lipstick terms, it kind of is a lot. I don't know if that'll be a realistic goal. Honestly, I don't feel like I reached for this very many times in August. If I do finish this month, I will have to use up more than I have used up in 1 month so far. It looks like, comparing this to the tally marks I have here, I'm probably going to need to use this four times more than I used it in August if I want to finish it this month. I feel like I would estimate I used this about 5 times in August, so if I can, well, I'd have to use it 20 times then in September. Can I do that? We will see. And then, of course, there probably will be more product down in there. I'm not sure how much. I've never used up one of these Burt's Bees crayons before, so that'll be interesting to see. I probably will dig it out and use it up, but I at least would like to use up what you can see here by the end of September. I'm gonna try my very darndest to finish it. Look who decided to join us. You wanna show your face to the camera, or you just wanna show your butt? You guys wanna hear her purr? Bee is here to introduce you to my 2 new roll-ins. I'm so excited for both of these. So first up, to replace the Clarity So Amazing palette, I have chosen another eyeshadow. This time it's actually a single shadow. And this also happens to be the oldest product in my collection. And it is the Makeupgeek single shadow in the shade Grandstand. This is a foiled shadow. Go ahead and show you a little swatch. Oh, Bee's back. There's a swatch of that color. So it's this really pretty bronzy rose gold shade. Makes a great one and done shadow also. So I'm thinking I have it in this little one pan Z palette, which actually has been kind of useful for when I'm wanting to focus on just one of my singles. I can just pop it in here and treat it like a regular single shadow. So this I'm just gonna keep in my everyday makeup drawer, I mean, along with all of these other products, but I want this to be just kind of like my go-to quick everyday eyeshadow. So as is the case usually with eyeshadows, my goal for this is to hit pan. Since we only have 1 month until my Q4 refresh, I'm thinking I probably will go ahead and roll this over into that quarters project so that I can because I do think it's probably going to take more than a month to hit pan on this. There is somewhat of a dip. I do feel like I'm still pretty far off from hitting pan, but I actually have repressed this before because it shattered at one point like a few years ago. And so I salvaged whatever I could, but I do think some of the shadow did just get lost in that process. So it's not necessarily a completely full pan. I don't even necessarily think it will take me until the very end of the year to hit pan on this. I'm thinking I could probably hit pan within 2 to 3 months, just depending on how much I'm willing to use it. So we'll see. Really curious to see how this first month of panning this goes, but I do feel like it's about time that I hit pan on the oldest product that I own. Then to replace that Franken Blush, I have actually chosen another lip liner. This is actually one of the products that I added to my plan to pan list halfway through the year because I've been on such a roll using up lip liners this year. So I just want to keep going, see how much more I can use up. So this is the BK Beauty Everlast lip liner in the shade Warm Spice. And I do have quite a bit of this left. My goal that I said in my planning to pan video was that I would just like to use up half of what is left when I start. So I do feel like I could maybe use all of it up this year, but I don't want to be too ambitious. So I'm going to aim for halfway. So here's where I'm going to mark my progress. You can see I tallied where we are today, and then I estimated what would be about halfway down. So that is where this arrow is. So that's what we're aiming to use up. I'm really excited to get started with this one though, because it's a really pretty fall color. It's this kind of deep, like spicy, warm brown shade, a little bit deeper than what I wear for most of the year, but I do think in the fall this will be perfect. Those are the two new roll-ins, the single shadow and the lip liner. I think that these will round out this group of products really nicely. I am looking forward to using all of these products throughout the next month, and I'll come back at the beginning of October to refresh my project with a new set of things. I will roll some things over, I'm sure, but for the most part, I'll have a completely new set of items at the beginning of October. So thank you guys so much for hanging out today. I hope you had fun. If you want to catch up on previous Project Pan updates, I will link my playlist of my 2023 Project Pan below. Don't forget, I do also have a Patreon and a channel membership if you're interested in supporting my channel further. This past month, we did a Cats Pick My Makeup video. It was so much fun. B had a blast in that one. Every month, we also do a bonus live stream for patrons and members, and I also give early access to my Project Pan updates over there. So if you're interested in checking that out, they will both be linked below. And otherwise, I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and I will talk to you again very soon in my next video. Bye!